everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and today I'm coming to you with a video that is kind of a compendium to a product review that I did a few days ago regarding this barrel right here. This is a SIG OEM barrel conversion in 357 SIG for the 226. In this case, the gun I have is the TAC Ops version of the 226, and this is chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. In that video, I talked about the only thing that you have to replace in order to change calibers is the barrel. And that is because everything about the two guns, regardless of which caliber you buy them in, is the same except for the barrel. The recoil spring assembly is the same, the extractor is the same, the ejector is the same, and the magazines are the same. And that is because the 357 SIG uses the 40 Smith & Wesson as its parent case. Now in that video, I did get somebody comment that said, you get 3 calibers with the Glock 27 in 40. You can get a conversion barrel of 9 and 357 SIG. But I wanted to talk about that. I hear a lot of people mention that about Glocks. Now, when it comes to a Glock chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson, like this Glock 22 RTF2 that I have with those really cool fishgill serrations, if you buy a 357 barrel for this, whether it's an aftermarket barrel or a Glock OEM barrel, it will fit in this firearm just fine. It will function just fine because just like the SIG, all of the parts are exactly the same. But that commenter said, hey, you can buy a 9mm conversion barrel as well. But I wanted to talk about that. If you wanted to convert any Glock chambered in 40 to 9mm, you cannot use a factory Glock 9mm barrel. And that is because the diameter of the barrels on the outer portion of the barrel is different. Where, of course, on a 357 SIG and a 40, that outer diameter is the same. On 9 and 40, they are different. So if you want to put a 9mm barrel in here, you need to buy an aftermarket one that has thicker walls. But there's one more problem with that, and it's something that I don't think people think about and they definitely overlook. There are a couple of different parts between these two guns, even though they use exactly the same frame size, and if you wanted to switch magazines, they will fit. Now, they won't function because of the calibers that they are chambered in. As you can see, the 40 will fit in the 9mm, and the 9mm will fit in the 40. There are things that are different about these two guns, which make chambering a Glock in 40 and chambering it down to 9mm not as reliable and something that I do not recommend. First and foremost, while these two extractors look exactly the same, they actually have different part numbers in the Glock catalog. Now I can tell you that when it comes to gun design and manufacturing, everything about a gun is well thought out. All of the dimensions are really mathematically precise. The reason that these two are different part numbers is there is a 5-degree slope difference between the 40 and the 9mm. The 40 is a wider caliber, it has a wider case. Now, will these extractors work between each other? In theory, they will, but the dimensions are not designed for each other's caliber. So you might have extractor issues or premature extractor wear. And of course, that could cause ejection issues. Another thing is the ejector itself. So let me go ahead and field strip these two particular firearms. There's the 40. And here is the 9mm. And let me show you first the ejectors. Now the ejectors are up here, and as you can see here on the 9mm, this ejector is bent just a little bit, and that is because the 9mm case is more narrow, and this is going to hit on the side of the case in the right spot. Now on the 40, let's take a look at this ejector, and as you can see, it is straight, and that's because the 40 is wider. So there they are side by side. So maybe now you can see what the problem might be. If you put a 9mm conversion barrel in this particular frame, which is designed for a 40, that 9mm casing is going to be coming back, and this ejector might hit it in the wrong direction or the wrong place, and therefore it is not going to be as reliable. So in theory, you can shoot 9 through the 40 with a conversion barrel. And by the way, the recoil springs are the same between the two models. But these two other parts, the ejector and the extractor, are different, and that is going to give you some issues. I never recommend chambering a 40 down to 9mm because of this issue. You might get the gun to work, but you're not going to be able to use OEM parts, and you are definitely going to have, over the long term, reliability issues. Now, I do know that there are going to be people in the comment section saying, I run a 9mm conversion barrel in my 40. It runs great. I've never had an issue. All I'm telling you is that when companies like SIG or companies like Glock design these particular guns, there is a reason why each part is meticulously machined and designed to certain tolerances. It is for that caliber. And so 357 SIG and 40 have the same cartridge dimensions in the back. It is exactly the same. So it's the same extractor and it's the same ejector, but 9 and 40 are completely different. So my commenter who said that he can get 3 calibers in his Glock 27 is kind of right, but I would never run a 9 on a 40 frame for that reason, unless you exchange out the extractor and the ejector. So I still stand behind my statement that if you have a gun chambered in 40, you can convert it to 357 SIG. But I do not agree that you can convert it to 9 properly. So in my book, I want my guns to be designed and built correctly and within tolerance of what the manufacturer wants. So since I cannot put a 9mm OEM barrel in this, and the extractor and the ejector are designed for the 40, not the 9mm, I disagree with my commenter. You could still only get 2 calibers in the 40 Smith & Wesson. And once again, I know some people are going to disagree because you can make it work. It will function. I just wouldn't trust it. And that's just my personal opinion, and I try to give you guys some qualitative evidence to why I think that. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I just wanted to make this video talking to that commenter and giving my reasoning. So I would like to know what you guys think, and do you guys ever convert 40s to 9? That's a really interesting discussion, and maybe one day I'll have to try it and truly test the reliability. But in general, I don't see a need to do it because those parts are so different, and Glock has different parts for the 9 and the 40. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.